Match to remember. May 15, 1985. Everton 3, Rapid Vienna 1.
Yes.
Everton arrived in Rotterdam for the European Cup Winners' Cup final. At the end of a long, hard season, there were many who feared that this might be the night that they may be for the relentless pursuit of a much vaunted treble. Crankle summed up the game. Everton were just too good. It's been a long time since we had played against anyone of their class. They are possibly the best side in the whole of Europe.
Yes.
I actually disagree with this. The world.
Yes. Okay. Now, special guest tonight going to come up and speak to us from the audience. A friend of mine. I won't introduce him. He can introduce himself, or would you? This is a good friend of mine, and I'm sure you'll give him a really good round of applause. It's Mr. Michael Owen.
Before I came on, everyone was saying to me, break a leg.
Break your neck. Michael Owen.
Anyway, tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be a blithering idiot. Friends, Romans, Evertonians. The year is 1909. Everton, it seems a long time ago, but Everton have been in existence for 31 years by then. We've been in the league, in the top flight, for 21 years. Accrington and Stanley were good then. We'd been at Goodison for 17 years. We'd won the Championship, we'd won the FA Cup. And perhaps it was because of that FA Cup win at the Crystal Palace in 1906, when we beat Newcastle United. The Newcastle fans, the ones with the black and white striped flat caps, that we got the invite. The invite was to tour to visit South America. I know nothing about how they got there, but I presume they went on a boat, a big boat. They got there.
A very in-shot lad.
They played an Argentine League 11. They played a Uruguay League 11. And they played an Argentine club side called Alumni. Everton won the lot. People were impressed. A few weeks later, in the Chilean Pacific port of Valparaiso, where boats from all over the world went, big boats, 8 Chile men had met up. It was their winter, so they were freezing. What they meant to do was form a football club. They met, they formed a football club, and they called it Everton. They decided to play in blue and white. Why? Because we were something special. It was acknowledged even then.
Oh yes.
At first, they just played in regional leagues. And perhaps what they've done, I should mention the names of these 8 men. Because these were the first Evertonianos. Graham Barber, Michael Riley, Graham Poll, Clive Thomas. Just wind you up, that's another list. That's my hit list. Friends, Romans, Evertonians. The 8 first Evertonianos were, and they deserve a mention, they deserve remembering, Arthur Foxley. And why I read them out is because many of these were of British descent. Some of them may have been of Merseyside descent, because of all the boats, big boats, that went from the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey to Valparaiso. So you may be related to some of these. Arthur Foxley, David Foxley, Francisco Boundy, Hugo Boundy. Any Boundies?
Yeah.
Percy Holmes,
What's up, kids?
Carlos Gonzalez, Malcolm Fraser, Alberto Gonzalez. And if he can hear this now, he'll be salting in his grave. Someone could laugh. But, as I say, it started off with the regional leagues, because Chile, that long, thin country, didn't have a national league until the 1940s, because it's, what, 2,700 miles long. It was in the 1940s that Everton relocated a few miles from Valparaiso to Vina del Mar. But within a few years of the national championship being set up, Everton won the championship. Championes. 2 years later, 2 years later, Championes again.
Go ahead.
However, despite this link seemed to have been forgotten. Until, as if by divine intervention, there was a brilliant reminder. Pelé and the Brazilians. Pelé knows all about the two Evertons. In 1962, the World Cup finals were held in Chile. What club should hold more games than any other venue apart from the national stadium? Everton. Brazil played all their group games there. Quite nice, sir.
Yeah.
There was a quarter-final there between Brazil and England, which featured a fellow called Ray Wilson, who signed for Everton a couple of years later. And then a semi-final was held there. 4 years later, 1966 World Cup finals, Harold Wilson's England. Which club hosted more games than anywhere else apart from the national stadium?
Wasn't Everton, was it?
Correct. Brazil
What does
again.
that mean?
Brazil again played all the group games there. It was a quarter-final and it was a semi-final. But despite that, and I remember Kenneth Wolsnow mentioned the fact that it was two Evertons in 4 years. Again, there was no links. Everton won the league in 1970. The Evertonianos won it in Chile in 1976. But then 4 years later, in 1980, an Evertonian from Norris Green went to Mexico to study Spanish. He decided, as you do, to hitchhike to Chile to watch Everton.
Oh, yeah.
His name was John Sheeran. He cannot be with us tonight. He's locked in an institution. However, he took it upon himself to campaign for links between the two clubs. Got nowhere. The tide was against him. Until a few years ago, the tide started swimming with him. Two things. One, English Premiership games being shown around the world. The Evertonianos were able to watch this team called Everton they could identify with. The other thing, the internet. Once Everton supporters here started taking an interest, they can follow the results of the Evertonianos. They've won the last 4 games. Radzinski was playing for them. 5-2 on Sunday. And now, finished yet?
Not yet, not yet.
Put me up his sub there. And so now you know, excuse me.
Have a beer. That'll be £3.50.
Something like a